So, before, I think this is an interactive session, so you will get to ask some questions on the spot, and I will answer them. But before anything like that, I wanted to give a brief lecture about infinity and how math isn't always going to fall into your hands. So, I guess let's start with that. Infinity is a very confusing number. Some say it's not even a number. Some are confused by the concept. It's just something that you can't grasp. It's something that you can't pull into the real. Something you can't pull into the real world, no matter how hard you try. It's way too far away from anything your brain can comprehend, and so that makes it really weird to work with. It's really just a concept of something too big to surpass. But, I mean, can't you add 1? Can't you add 2? So there's a concept of different amounts of infinities, but we'll get to that later. So what does infinity really mean? Why do we use it? Why do we define things like it? Well, we don't just define it for fun. We don't define it because we wanted to. We define it because it's a useful notion. Sometimes to describe the real world, we have to leave it. So, infinity is an example of that, along with other examples like every irrational number, examples like e, complex numbers, pi, the golden ratio, phi. Negative numbers themselves are technically are not a real concept, but these are the things that we have to pull out of real life in order to depict the real world. So, sometime or something that's infinitely big into the real world. In fact, now we have a study. Of infinities themselves. Well, not really. It's a subtopic of set theory. It's what people call cardinality, which is essentially measuring the size of infinite sets. So, infinity is a very untangible concept, and sometimes we have to keep it that way. Sometimes we can't quite stay within the real world when describing it. So, don't feel overwhelmed if you just can't get a grasp on what you're working with when it comes to math. You sometimes have to rework your brain to get into the details. But once you understand the details and you've done the details, you can mostly gloss over them. But don't let this encourage you to totally ignore them. So, that's all for me, I guess. Math isn't always going to be just a parallel to the real world. Math doesn't just always describe something in reality. Sometimes we have to go a little further than that, and that's okay. So don't feel overwhelmed when trying to understand concepts like these. I guess that's all. So that's all I want to say for now. Thank you.
This is an interaction round, so we have questions from the students. The questions shall be moderated by Christina. So we already have got the questions from the students. So Christina, please moderate the questions that have come from the students, one by one.
So we will be starting our interaction section right now. So I would like to name out the college and the name of